Four lessons from the Manafort sentencing. Editors note the opinions in this article are the authors, as published by our content partner, and do not necessarily represent the views of MSN or Microsoft. Earlier today, Paul Manafort, the former campaign manager for Donald Trump, was sentenced to 7.5 years in prison by Judge Amy Berman Jackson in Washington, D.C. This sentence will run, but what are we, as citizens, to take away from today's events? Here are a few thoughts. First, and most obviously, the criminal justice system seems to have worked. Last week. Second, and more important for the American public, the New York authorities have made clear that they are willing to serve as a pardon insurance policy for America. In recent months, a caveat there might be issues about the provenability of these state-level crimes, and there is even a possibility that unique New York law might give Manafort a double jeopardy claim to avoid prosecution. But overall, third, the New York indictment is not good news for Trump, personally. The Manhattan and finally, as bad as this news is for Trump, it is likely even worse news for the Trump Organization now also possibly in Vance's crosshairs for real estate shenanigans. But what is true for an individual is generally not true for an organization. The organization, this was not a good day for Manafort. In the larger context,
raindrop, drop top smoking, no cooking the hot pot. Fucking on your bitch, yeah, that. Looking up in the park.